Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me for another bonus episode in the series in which I'm sharing our family's experiences in the last year of our daughter Hannah's life, which spanned from February 2008 through February 2009. My desire is to process through the events of those 12 months with a perspective that 16 years has brought, and to point listeners to hope in Jesus along the way. I'm grateful you've joined me. This is bonus episode number 150, Grace Like a Fitted Sheet, December 24th, 2008. Cancer doesn't take a break at Christmas time. Christmas fell on a Thursday in 2008, and Hannah needed platelet infusions on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When we checked into her room, there was a beautiful plush stuffed walrus on her bed, along with a booklet of word games, Christmas gifts from some nice donor to brighten the day of a child who had to be admitted to the hospital on Christmas Eve. It took longer than usual to get her platelets since we had to go through the whole admissions process, and we were grateful to be heading home late that afternoon and looking forward to a quiet Christmas day at home. I woke up early the next morning and wrote out some of my thoughts in an email. By this time, there were hundreds, maybe thousands of people who were reading our emails and praying for our family, and I felt a real kinship with them. Though I generally tried to be pretty transparent in my emails, I didn't share all my thoughts on that Christmas morning. Because as I sat there in the pre-dawn hours, I knew that this would be our last Christmas together as a family of 4. The cancer was taking Hannah from us bit by bit, and there was nothing we could do about it. Please don't misunderstand. This was not a crisis of faith. I knew and I believed that God could heal Hannah here on earth if that was His plan. But it was becoming more and more apparent to me that His plan was for us to walk beside Hannah, holding her hand, as she made her way toward heaven. And I recognized that that was actually going to require a lot more faith than simply believing for earthly healing. Here's my email from 16 years ago. It is early on Christmas morning, and I have a few things on my heart that I want to share with all of you who have been so faithful to pray for our family over the last several months. No one else is up yet. The girls no longer wake us up before dawn begging to open their presents. As teenagers, they would much rather sleep in and open presents whenever they happen to wake up. We no longer have to stay up late on Christmas Eve putting toys together. The toys they want now are high-tech gadgets that they have to open up and figure out how to use themselves. We're of no help to them in that department. We have always lived a few hours away from both sets of the girls' grandparents, so we have rarely spent Christmas Day at home over the years. We're usually at one or the other grandparent's house or traveling in between on Christmas Day. Circumstances did not allow us to travel this week, with platelet infusions yesterday and tomorrow in Little Rock, so we will be spending all day at home, just the 4 of us. And while we are praying for Hannah's healing and trusting God that our family of 4 will spend many more Christmases together, we are fully aware that in His sovereignty, this could be our last. And that is not only true for our family and our present circumstances, it is true for every family who's reading this email. We don't know what the future holds for any of us, so please, this year more than ever, enjoy the time with your family, treasure the memories you make, and be sure you know the one whose birth we celebrate on this day. Intense fatigue seems to be Hannah's biggest battle right now. We are hoping to travel to Mountain Home and spend a couple of days with my family after her platelet infusion on Friday. My brother, sister-in-law, and niece, who are missionaries in Indonesia, have just come home for a 6-month furlough. We're also hoping to spend some time with Brad's family. His sister and brother-in-law just welcomed their first baby on Tuesday. Please pray that Hannah will have the stamina to enjoy these visits. She loves spending time with her extended family. She's due for another chemotherapy treatment next Wednesday, New Year's Eve, and we assume that is the source of fatigue that she's experiencing. How can we ever thank all of you enough for the prayers, cards, emails, calls, visits, gifts, and meals? Your love and support has carried all of us through this journey, and we will be forever grateful. A dear friend once told me that God's grace is like a fitted sheet. He gives you just enough to fit your particular mattress. This friend knows the truth of that statement too, as she and her husband lost their baby girl to meningitis several years ago. God's grace is sufficient, and He is truly good all the time. Wishing you all a blessed Christmas, Jill and Brad.